Top 5 things we learned yesterday in March Madness. Number 5. Doug Eddard is more Jersey than the boss. Doug Eddard has a mustache, and he won for St. Peter's, which is in Jersey City, New Jersey. Doug Eddard is more Jersey than exposed chest hair. Doug Eddard is more Jersey than The Sopranos. He's more Jersey than a guy in a Bon Jovi T-shirt skiing in his jeans. They love him. They love him. I loved it. This is a compliment to him. He is New Jersey all the way through. It's a compliment.
Okay.
He's so New Jersey, he's never pumped his own gas.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge. I mean, good for him. One of those, I guess, I was talking about earlier, one of those guys who's kind of a name that we learn now and becomes a March Madness star. And, yeah, I mean, I could care less about, I'm so not New Jersey that, it doesn't mean a whole lot to me. But for the people up there, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Number 4, hot streaks in the conference tourney mean something. Richmond wouldn't have been in without 4 wins in the A-10 tournament. And then they come out and beat Iowa, a team fresh off winning their conference tournament. So they do mean something. I mean, maybe it didn't mean for Iowa, but for Richmond.
Because Iowa was hot too, weren't they?
Yeah, but they do. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I think for Richmond, it certainly meant something, getting on that roll.
You just don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's something to be said for being on a hot streak. Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't mean everything like you said because you just pointed out an example of it. But yeah, Richmond was playing like a hot team, and that's why I'm sure there were a bunch of people that probably had them, pegged as a potential upset type of a pick. I mean, that's one way to analyze those. Is you don't take the team that got in the play-in game, but had lost like 5 of their last, or that snuck into it basically, and then expect them to go beat a top seed. But a team like Richmond, who's playing really well, coming to the tournament, yeah, that's a good candidate, and sure enough, if you did pick that one, then you got a big one on your bracket.
Yeah. Number 3, Remy Martin is getting confident. He's a guy who didn't play a lot, but the last 2 games, he's scoring some points. And look, I know that's a 16 and 116 matchup, but getting out there, scoring, adding that element that Kansas has not had for the majority of the year, that's the reason they brought him in. And in the tournament, it's not necessarily about what you did all year. It's about how hot you are right now and the guys who can contribute. If Remy Martin can kind of come out of nowhere, and this is what they expected when he transferred in, this is what they wanted from Remy Martin, was to give them these kind of minutes and points. If Kansas can get this, to me, they're the most dangerous team in the tournament because this is what they wanted to have in November. They haven't gotten it until now, but guess what? It doesn't matter if they hoist the trophy later. But Remy Martin getting out there, getting loose is huge for the Jayhawks.
Such a long grind. It is such a long grind. Teams take on different personalities. Some guy that may not have been playing, like, for example, UT with today, a bunch of guys got their confidence back today. Now they feel like they can do anything, and that's a good thing. No matter who your team might be, he is very dangerous. I kept waiting. Everyone kept waiting. Hell, Bill Self kept waiting, and now he's starting to show what everyone was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we're finally talking about him for a valid reason rather than just speculating about him and what he can do and all of that. Like, okay, we're actually talking about him for playing basketball. Great, that's fantastic. But yeah, he's a really good player. Kansas is It's a fantastic team and wouldn't surprise me at all. I know some basketball diehards might scoff, but, if Kansas were to cut the nets, I wouldn't be shocked by that. If they do, though, he'll play a massive role, obviously.
Yeah. Number 2, it's rough to be from the Mountain West. 0-4 yesterday. 0-4.
Yeah,
Mountain West.
I haven't really kept up with the totals. Like I'm sure we'll see, at the end of every day, we'll see somebody who's keeping track of like this many teams from each conference is remaining. I hadn't paid attention to that just yet, other than just realizing the Big 12 was off to a pretty good start. But that sucks for them. I mean, it stinks if you're a Mountain West fan of one of those 4 programs or just somebody who is rooting for the conference to cause a little chaos in general. Yeah, that getting wiped out in the first round. That's a pretty tough pill to swallow.
And number 1. Don't let your kids cry at games unless you want them to be a meme. Yeah. And yes, Internet, I am going to make fun of a child here. Oh, I don't mind. I'm maybe making fun of his parents. This is maybe a good opportunity to tell your kids that it's just a game. There's going to be another one on November 11th of next year that he'll get to start a new season, and the hope shines eternal. He's young. His life's not over. They're Kentucky. They spend $9 million GD dollars a year on their coach. Things will shine. The sun will shine in Lexington, Kentucky again. Don't worry. It's not worth crying over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get too I guess not up in arms is too strong a term, but you know, when it's little kids, I can kind of get it because I know when I was a little kid, you know, your team winning meant everything, and so for them to lose a big game, that was always like kind of a tough pill to swallow. How about you know, rewinding a couple weeks? Don't let your college students cry at games unless you don't want them to be a meme, because man, the Duke fans were far more embarrassing than any little kid at March Madness crying.
Yes. That's very true. That is very true. Don't cry. Let's take it out. Don't cry at games. Don't cry. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Unless you're an actual player and your career's over and that's like a moment in your life or you've won and that's a goal you've achieved, don't cry. If you're a fan, if you bought a ticket and a shirt, you can't cry. You have no permission to cry. You're not that invested. You're not. It's not worth crying.
Well, they're kids.
Even if you're a kid.
Kids don't know.
They do if you tell them.
They're kids.
I mean,
that's why they're kids. They don't, all right.
Not worth it, Billy. Be a man.
Texas
that's my advice.
Wrapped up their win.
You're going to make a great father.
Yeah. He's got 3. 81-73, Texas beats